He's charming everyone he meets, but it's still awkward when he has to kiss a friend on screen. This is how Timothée Chalamet went from teenage rapper to one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. Timothée Chalamet was born in New York City on December 27, 1995. He and his older sister Pauline were raised in the artistic Manhattan Plaza in Hell's Kitchen. Their mother is Nicole Flender, a dancer who turned to real estate, and their French father is Marc Chalamet, a journalist for the French newspaper Le Parisien, who also held positions at UNICEF and the United Nations. Timothée spent most of his summers in France and even holds dual American and French citizenship. During his teenage years, Chalamet attended Fiorello H. LaGuardia High School of Music and Art and Performing Arts in Manhattan, where he honed his passion for acting. He also left his mark with his rap alter ego, Lil Timmy Tim. One of his classmates was fellow future actor Ansel Elgort. The two of them also both played on the school's basketball team. Timothée Chalamet's parents were incredibly supportive of both of their kids' career paths, especially their mother, Nicole Flender. She also attended LaGuardia High School with a focus on dance. She had a career in ballet and also worked on Broadway shows like Fiddler on the Roof and Hello Dolly. In a 2022 interview with The Guardian, she revealed, "I took my kids to see many different plays and musicals when they were growing up, and I think seeing certain performances influenced them. The productions they've seen and even growing up in New York have informed who they are today." But Flender didn't push her kids into acting, as they instead fell in love with it on their own. As she explained, "I planted seeds, and our lifestyle really inspired those interests, but they always had control of their careers. I was encouraging, but I wasn't like, you better get this job." Chalamet clearly appreciates the support from his mom and dad. As he told ID Magazine in 2018, "I think the most precious thing I get from my parents, and I try and give it back to them as much as I can, is their love and support. I hope that doesn't sound cheesy, but it's true."
And he's a wonderful actor, but he's also an excellent son.
Like many up-and-coming actors, Timothée Chalamet started his career on TV. In 2009, he appeared on an episode of Law & Order, and then in 2012, he showed up on a few episodes of Royal Pains. That same year, he had a recurring gig on Homeland as the vice president's son. It wasn't long before the big screen started calling as well. In 2014, he had a minor role in Men, Women, and Children, which also featured his high school classmate Ansel Elgort. Next up was the sci-fi flick Interstellar, in which he played the younger version of lead Matthew McConaughey's son. It was a small part, but it left a significant impression, as it was Chalamet's first time in a big-budget film. As he explained in an interview with BAFTA Guru, "As an actor, particularly if you're not the lead of the project, you try to make yourself as clay-like, as malleable as possible, a blip in the radar, a wallflower, somebody who's prepared and ready to go."
Ultimately, responsibilities to the character, to the story, to that sequence of that day.
Timothée Chalamet really made a name for himself in 2017 when he starred as Elio in the coming-of-age romance Call Me By Your Name. The movie is set in northern Italy in 1983, and Elio is a 17-year-old navigating his feelings for an older man named Oliver, who stays with Elio's family over the summer. Chalamet learned Italian for the part and also studied piano and guitar. Chalamet's performance was met with rave reviews from critics, and he even earned nominations from the Academy Awards, the Golden Globes, and the BAFTAs. He also won the award for Best Actor from the Los Angeles Film Critics Association and the New York Film Critics Circle. During an interview with ABC News' Popcorn with Peter Travers, he admitted, "It's nuts. I mean, I'm just trying not to pinch myself. Actors' careers go up and down, so there'll be a nice crash soon. I'm kidding. I hope not." 2017 was quite the breakthrough year for Timothée Chalamet. In addition to starring in Call Me By Your Name, he also had a supporting role in another award-worthy coming-of-age flick, Lady Bird. It was the solo directorial debut of Greta Gerwig and starred Saoirse Ronan as the title character. Chalamet played Kyle, one of Lady Bird's love interests. Then in 2019, Chalamet teamed up with Gerwig and Ronan again for Little Women, the latest adaptation of Louisa May Alcott's 1868 novel. Chalamet really made an impression on his director in both of these movies, as she declared, "He's a young Christian Bale crossed with a young Daniel Day-Lewis, with a sprinkle of young Leonardo DiCaprio."
He's brilliant and lovely.
Chalamet and Ronan worked together for a third time in the 2021 film The French Dispatch, directed by Wes Anderson. Chalamet played a rebellious student activist who has a brief romance with Frances McDormand's journalist character. In an interview with GQ, Anderson noted that Chalamet fit in perfectly with his cast of A-listers, while adding, "I think my favorite moments with Timmy during a scene were the ones where I saw him pause and find a new attack, a new angle, which he does very clearly and assertively. What I love is how he will surprise you with something new, completely unexpected and perfect." After his big 2017, Chalamet spent 2018 starring alongside Steve Carell in Beautiful Boy, which is based on the memoirs written by David Sheff and his son Nick Sheff. Chalamet and Carell star as Nick and David, respectively, as they struggle with Nick's drug addiction. Chalamet prepared for the role by speaking to recovering drug addicts, losing nearly 20 pounds, and meeting with the real Nick Sheff. Sheff was impressed by Chalamet's efforts. As he told Deadline, "There's such depth to his person. There's wisdom well beyond his years. He sort of flashes between being just a kid, having fun with his friends, to being this incredibly wise, contemplative, and articulate spokesperson." The intensity of the role did leave an impact on Chalamet, as he admitted to ID magazine. "After the last day of shooting, I had the strangest walk home. I didn't even live it. Nick and David did, but I still felt really affected, drained, and a little devastated. The movie isn't a downer because it is really redemptive and hopeful, but it did feel like a punch to the stomach." Chalamet got a small taste of blockbuster filmmaking when he starred in 2014's Interstellar, but it wasn't until he booked the lead role of Paul Atreides in 2021's Dune that he really became a bona fide action star. The role was no doubt daunting, but it actually made the actor feel more comfortable, as he revealed during an interview with his Bones and All co-star Taylor Russell. "As Paul Atreides becomes more sure on his heels, I feel more sure on my heels too."
It's a story of a young man being thrust into a circumstance way too soon.
Chalamet also appreciated that even though Dune was a sci-fi movie set on fictional planets, it was also based in reality. As he explained to Empire, "The nature of these big-budget movies is to get good at reacting to a green screen. I wouldn't know how to train for that. You hear some actors in superhero films say that as each part of the superhero costume is added, some part of their dignity has slipped away. There wasn't any of that." Chalamet got a chance to showcase his song and dance skills when he was cast as the most famous fictional chocolatier of all time for the 2023 musical Wonka. Unlike the previous films about Willy Wonka, this one told the story of a young, bright-eyed version of the Candyman as he struggles to make a name for himself. And there was no need for Chalamet to audition, because director Paul King thought of him for the part right away. As King explained to Rolling Stone, "It was a straight offer because he's great, and he was the only person in my mind who could do it." Chalamet was definitely up to the task, but as he admitted to Vanity Fair, "This was the most physically challenging project I've ever done. I can't say the singing and dancing comes easy. I've been around musical theater my whole life and danced a little bit in high school, but this was on a different level." After Chalamet starred alongside Zendaya in 2021's Dune, rumors swirled that the two were an item. And while they in fact aren't romantic with each other, they do have a remarkable platonic friendship. As Zendaya gushed to British Vogue, "He's obviously a very talented actor, but just a wonderful person and a good friend to have. Especially in this industry, it's nice to have other people who are going through it too, and that you can talk to." The two are so close that Zendaya even helped Chalamet decorate his New York City apartment. As she revealed during an appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live, the vibe of the place was very teenage boy before she helped out. And she also explained that he just needed some basic living necessities, like kitchen utensils and cleaning products.
No bed frame.
We need some structure.
Yeah.
The two only got closer after they re-teamed for 2024's Dune Part 2, although things may have gotten awkward when they had to kiss for one scene. As Chalamet admitted to Entertainment Tonight,
"It's weird as hell because like we're so close platonically, so it's just the strangest part of the job."
Timothée Chalamet's dating history is just as impressive as his movie roles. He's been in relationships with several high-profile celebs, though he tends to keep his romances on the down low. One of the very first women he was linked to was his high school classmate Lourdes Leon, daughter of Madonna. Then in 2018, he was linked to Lily Rose Depp, with whom he starred in the historical drama The King. They ultimately broke up after a little less than 2 years of dating. Chalamet also had a brief romance with fellow actor Eiza Gonzalez for a few months in 2020. But perhaps his most high-profile and most controversial romance to date came to light in the spring of 2023 when TMZ reported that reality star Kylie Jenner was seen leaving his home in Beverly Hills. Then that September, the two confirmed their relationship status when they attended a Beyoncé concert at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. A video obtained by TMZ featured the two of them kissing and hugging during the show. Chalamet and Jenner also stepped out together to watch the US Open tennis men's singles final between Novak Djokovic and Daniil Medvedev in September. Then in November, Chalamet was a supportive boyfriend when Jenner was honored with the Brand Innovator of the Year award at the WSJ Magazine Innovators Awards. And in January 2024, they took things to the next level when they attended the Golden Globes together. Timothée Chalamet still has plenty of gas left in the tank of his young career. He's even set to play rock legend Bob Dylan in the upcoming biopic A Complete Unknown, which is set to be directed by James Mangold. Chalamet is preparing for the part with the help of vocal coach Eric Vitro, who also helped his Dune Part 2 co-star Austin Butler prepare to play the title role in 2022's Elvis. As Chalamet noted to GQ, I just saw the way Butler committed to it all, and I realized I needed to step it up. Chalamet was also given Dylan's unreleased music from the early stages of his career. As he revealed during an interview for MTV, Dylan manager Jeff Rosen hooked him up with a 12-hour playlist of unreleased Bob Dylan tracks from approximately 1959 to 1964.
Like I feel like I'm holding on to gold or something.